Hello, hello, and welcome to Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. This is our back to school special. We are so excited to have you here. So if you are here joining us live, you know what to do. Hashtag Live Squad in the chat, in the comments, wherever you're watching from. And guess what? Do not forget to share. Go ahead. Tell an educator, tell a parent, tell an administrator, tell a stakeholder, anyone who has anything to do with education and who has anything to do with leading our young people. Let them know that they need to be in on this conversation. So if you have questions, go ahead, put your questions in the chat, and we will be sure to get to those during the live. And if not during the live, we will try our best to answer those after as well. So go ahead. Share, share, share. Let someone know that we are live here with Unique Couples. And some might say, why talk about education and back to school, on our Unique Couples platform? But we know it's all connected. We know what happens in the home affects what happens to our children at school, how they perform. We know that the teachers are impacted, administrators, and the cycle just continues. So I'm so glad to be here today and to have, I didn't realize, we have all ladies here tonight. So many beautiful, wonderful ladies who are leading in their various areas coming to share tonight. And so I just want them to take a few seconds to introduce themselves. Hello, Angela. We'll start with you, Gia, Sandra, and Tossie. Let our viewing audience know who you are. I know some of you are still connected to schools. Some of you have businesses that you're doing. Go ahead and share with our audience who you are. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Linda, and thank you for having me on your platform. I feel honored and privileged to be here. My name is Mrs. Angela Nixon. I am an educator for 20 years now. I think it's a little bit over that, but once you reach that 20-year mark,
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm a wife and a mother of two. My son is 17. He just started university. In fact, his first class is tomorrow. We're excited about that. My daughter is 13. So, and I work at Queens College. So my daughter's at Queens College with me. I teach general science, health science, and biology. I am also a children's minister at my church. I love working with children, and I think it's because of my environment and my family. My mom, she was a youth pastor. She's also an educator. And so she also devoted her life to children. Her mom devoted her life to children. My grandmother was Sylvia Johnson. She was the matron of the Children's Emergency Hostel. So I have a love for children that I think has come down through my family. So that's who I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So many different avenues for you to get in touch with children. Okay. Lady Gia Walker. Yes, you're muted. Hello. Yes. Okay.
I am. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. As you said, I am Gia Walker. I'm an educator of 31 years. 15 of those years have been in the classroom, and 23 years has been as an administrator. But as a professional, I find myself wearing many hats daily. Even though I may have a specific title, my role and responsibilities have included more and more over the years. And I've had to adapt to meet each responsibility. I enjoy working with children, especially in the primary school. There's never a dull moment, and every day is a different day, a different adventure, a different learning experience.
Okay, awesome. Tossie is killing herself laughing. Go ahead, Mrs. Major.
Hi, good evening. I am Sandra Major. I started teaching 41 and a half years ago. Yes, I've been teaching. I began my career in West End. I didn't know where West End was when they sent me from Nassau, but I was in West End. It was then an all-age school for 17 years, and I ended my career, which will be ending on August 26th on Friday. Will be my official last day at school in Martintown Primary School. I am a music teacher, and as of October 20th, I became the president of the newest teachers union in the country. Education has always been my passion. From a child, I wanted to do nothing else but teach. I never wanted to be administrator. That was not my goal. I love the classroom. I have done everything that I need to do, and my life has been so full. When I started teaching, I enjoyed it. When I ended my career in teaching, I have enjoyed every single moment. And so it's a pleasure to be here today, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Awesome, awesome. How many years again?
41 and a half.
One.
I began teaching in 1980.
Wow.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. We could say, yes, we have a winner. We have the longest of us all. I think we have about over 100 years definitely in here.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
we definitely have a lots to share. Okay, Miss Tossie.
Good evening, everyone. I think Angela and I are the babies here. I've been in it for 23 years, a public school teacher. I can't even say veteran anymore, being here with Miss Major and Mrs. Walker. But I spent 23 years in the public school system, primary public school system. I started my journey at Central Abaco Primary, and I ended in 2020 at Cache Primary School here in New Providence. And I ended my classroom teaching career because the passion for training and educating teachers became humongous, and I absolutely loved it. So I had an opportunity in 2006 to train a group of educators for the Department of Education in language arts. And it was just a phenomenal experience. And since 2006, I've been training educators. So I decided to jump off the ledge in 2020 and open up my own business, the Legacy Training Lab, where I do holistic training for educators. That's wellness training, curriculum, and methodology training for educators. So that's me.
Awesome, awesome. I told you all that you are in for a treat, and you definitely are. So, first major thing is we all know that there are challenges, okay? There are challenges everywhere you go, but of course, there are challenges in education as well. What are some major challenges parents, teachers, administrators, or even the union might face today? You could go ahead and answer the question. Let's see who wants to go first. What are some of the challenges that we face? And you could probably share with one so we can make sure everyone gets a chance to um, get in. Hello, Gia. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Angela.
Okay, so challenge for parents, because I am physically in the classroom and I hear some of the challenges, and I am a parent myself. I think one of the major challenges we faced in the last 3 years, 2 years over the course of the pandemic was monitoring kids online. That was a challenge because the kids were doing virtual learning, but they were not necessarily in the person's class, because they may have been on another app, or they saw it as a time to have fun and relax and not go to class. So monitoring the kids online for school purposes, and even just in general, even at home, monitoring the kids online is a challenge for many parents because they don't know how to do it. It's a challenge because if you're not knowledgeable of the various apps and the different routers you could use to turn the internet on and off, you don't have to go and get the device and have an argument with your child because you want to take the phone because they're so upset they cannot live without their phone. But you could keep your phone. I'm just turning off the internet and I can do that via my phone. And so in terms of getting the proper information, on how to meet that challenge was what a lot of parents had problems with. And of course, this would take finances too. You know, you would have to also not only find out and ask for help, just like how we want our kids to ask for help. I think adults find it hard to ask for help. This is why I need help. Do you know how I can do this? You know, ask for help, and then you need money, of course, to buy the technology, the app, the router. Is the router right? Yeah, because a lot of parents, I do virtual tutoring as well, and a lot of parents have problems with the kids. They don't want me to do any interactive thing where the kids have to use their phone because they know they can't get that phone back and stuff like that. And so I think finding out or giving parents knowledge of how to do the parental control and how to get these routers it will help with that challenge that parents are facing now with this technology world that we're in.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Some of those things we don't kind of like think about until it happens or it's happening to you. Anyone else, Gia?
But I know from the union standpoint that we'll have a challenge because of the way that as the Bahamas are set up. We have to make sure that every teacher challenge would be make sure there's the environment is safe, because some schools, the numbers are small, and the challenge would be: are you sure we have enough teachers to cover all the islands that we have? Because every child in the Bahamas, of course, is entitled to the same education, and so challenges come, of course, sometimes in numbers. We would have for the last school year challenges were, of course, with the element system itself. We had challenges, but like everything else, we are learning, we're growing, and this year our hope is that whatever challenges we would have had last year, they would have worked them out. Because if you last year when the system there was an overload, and so therefore we know that things would happen, because it was in place for 2000 before 2018 they would have started the virtual school, but then the hurricane happened and Dorian happened, and everything that had to go into virtual world, it was a challenge. It was a challenge sometimes just to stay on. Now the government is saying they have improved in all of our schools the Wi-Fi. They're put in some places Wi-Fi boxes, is what they're saying. Now we will have a challenge when we reach back to see if they're all working, because in some schools we have the Wi-Fi, but if you go in your individual classroom, you're not connected. And we can't go back to just pen and paper because we have introduced this now. This is a change in the way we teach. And it's a very positive thing. We have to, some teachers, of course, the older teachers may have had a little bit more difficulty in getting it, but as the more you do it, the more you become familiar with it. So our challenge this year would be to just continue to make sure that all our children are getting what they need. And we're going face to face this year. So the challenge will be again this year to make sure, even though we are face to face, we are still safe, because we know COVID is still there, and that's important. We want our teachers to be safe. We want our children to be safe. And our numbers are going back up between 25 and 30 to a classroom. So when you put those 25 and 30 children back in your room, our teachers must still be safe and our children must be safe. But we love the idea of being face to face.
Yes, I am no longer in the classroom, but having the ability for the past 2-3 years to directly work with teachers. I know that teachers had a myriad of concerns, especially during the pandemic. We've had our concerns before COVID-19, but I think COVID-19 exacerbated a lot of them. I know for teachers, especially resources became a major challenge for teachers, because a lot of the manual resources that we would have worked with, hands-on resources we would have worked with in the classroom, were no longer, we just couldn't use them. So we had to convert. We had to literally convert our resources to electronic resources. And it was time consuming, and it just took a lot out of our teachers until they found ways to not create resources, but find resources that they could use online. So that was a major challenge. Also, there was a lot of extra demands on our educators because of the new change and the new changes. And teachers found themselves stretched to the max. And they found themselves over committing. They found themselves doing the extra and not finding enough time for themselves and to take care of themselves. So there was a lot of teacher burnout, overwhelm, frustration, stress, right? High levels of stress. And we really needed to, and we need to focus on teacher self-care and wellness moving forward. Another issue too with teachers was the parental lack of involvement. And because of it, it was very difficult to get students to work and to do what was necessary, as we are used to controlling our own classrooms. Children were at home, and so we had to bring the classrooms to them. And we didn't have that control, and it was really a lot for teachers to adjust to. You know, you have your classroom, you could close that door and you could gel with your kids. But unfortunately, that all changed, and teachers had to find themselves having to really deal with 35 to 40 parents daily, so that they could ensure that their students were in class and doing the job that they needed to do. And that was a major challenge, because many times it was difficult to even find the parents and find the children. It was really difficult. And teachers also had to deal with, I would call it in some instances, even harassment, right? Parents feeling that it was okay to call them and text them and email them any time of night, and they must respond. And I think, at first, it was new to everybody. And so at first we could sort of understand it. But 2 years in, no, that's not okay. So we had a lot of boundary issues as it related to parents and teachers as well. And so we hope that this new school year, as teachers go back into the classroom, that a lot of those issues would be resolved, and as administrators and as ministry officials, that we would really focus on taking care of our teachers and ensuring that their needs are met.
I concur 100% with what was just said. She must have still been in the classroom, but definitely, we're looking forward to a better year this year, and yeah.
Yes, definitely. You want to chime in, Gia?
There will be challenges. There will be challenges. I was listening. That was the connector between each of the ladies as they spoke. We will have challenges, and even in administration, some of the challenges that we have, especially now that we're coming back face to face, we want to make sure that we improve on that student achievement. The world was different when everyone was behind those cameras these past couple of months, but now we've had some face to face before school closed, but now that we're coming back full face to face, so to speak, we have to make sure that discipline is effective. We want to establish healthy staff and parent relations, because as was mentioned, some boundaries were crossed while we were in the virtual world. We want to promote personalized learning, and of course, working on improving student retention and is important as well. Someone else mentioned it earlier. We're still rebounding from 2019. Those of us in Grand Bahama, especially from the effects of Hurricane Dorian. And then I like to say the world shut down in 2020, losing members and friends, and of course, property. There has been an incredible amount of job loss. So we realize, persons are frustrated. We each need to be patient with each other, and that's the key to moving forward. And as administrators today, we are responsible for ensuring that our students receive the best education they can in a supportive environment. And so we want to make sure that everyone gets an equal opportunity to learn what it is that they can. But there will be challenges, but we're going to overcome those challenges.
Yeah, that's the spirit, right? That's the spirit. And hopefully we all can enter the school year, new school year, with that high expectation of no matter what happens, we'll be able to handle it. So now the way forward, how can parents, teachers, administrators, even the union make the most of some of the new trends that are happening, even with technology and the opportunities that are emerging after the pandemic? How can we take advantage of all of these things that are happening now?
What I recognize in education is that this is a partnership. We have to do this. We have to do this together. I said before, we can't go back because we have introduced technology into the classroom. So we have to now build on that. And with technology, there are going to be issues because things will. It's technology. So some days you may not have internet, or it may just not work for that one class you wanted to work for. When your principal is coming to see you and you trying to set everything up and it isn't working. What? Been there, done that.
Of all the times, of all the time. 99% of the time it works, except for this one time.
Yes. And so we know there are going to be challenges, but we have to, because we are all connected. I keep telling the children we're connected by a mouse. I can teach you about Africa sitting at my desk. And so if it's that simple, you must understand that the world can come and take over your job. It's not just about you. I said that we're not just in the back of 8 Mile Rock Corner. We are connected to the world. And so we have to take everything. We have to be inclusive of the world, not just our little space. We have to let children be knowledgeable about the world. And what I find most like in my classroom is that they need to know, however, about themselves. Because as we integrate technology, let them learn who they are as a people, as Bahamian people. Take all the technology we're learning, integrate all the writing that we do, because we won't have to write as much now. We have to stop reinventing the wheel. There are people who have written books or who would have a nice worksheet. Let's learn to share. We are too selfish as a people. If you have done it, and we think, well, child, I ain't giving you mine because ain't nobody can teach my own. No, you have to train the teachers coming behind you to be better than you. My job is for the person that takes my space when I leave, you're to be better than I am, because we brace the two generations, the younger and the older, put us together, and we get a stronger team. The young people coming in, they know this technology stuff. I just trying to learn it on my way out. So if they know it and they could come into the classroom and share it with me, say, no, it's much easier if you do just touch this button. My daughter is a teacher. And when I went in trouble, she said, Mommy, I'm not telling you that anymore. I tell you that about 5 times. I said, but tell my sister out here, right? Because she comes and she makes it. She said, you make the internet work too hard because I'm doing something. And she said, Mommy, if you type this here and you put a heading here, all of these things will fall in line. I didn't know that. So with her help, I'm getting better. So we have to help each other in this new era that we're in so that all of us can go together. We don't want to leave anybody behind. People say, don't leave no man behind. So if all of us together, whatever we in, administrators, teachers, union, just determine within ourselves that we are going to work whatever the differences we have out together and progress this country.
Definitely. We need that togetherness spirit to really progress.
Mm-hmm. I also, as she speaks about partnerships, I think it's necessary for us to focus on relationships coming back into the school year. The technology took us away from seeing one another, touching each other, and having that bond that we used to create as peers, as teachers, and students. And so I think the focus, even before we get deep into teaching and deep into schoolwork and all of these things, is to really focus on building strong relationships in our classrooms and even with our colleagues. We have lost a lot of that. And because of it, persons felt isolated. They felt as if they couldn't function. It has caused a lot of unnecessary stress and strain on students and on teachers. So if we can get back to focusing on relationships, I think that would help greatly moving forward, because we know that if students love their teachers, you've done 75% of your job.
Yes. Yes. Totally agree with
I
that.
agree. I agree with both of the ladies, especially bridging the old and the new in order to build a stronger foundation moving forward. It's important, and we need to learn from each other. And building relationships is important, especially in education, even with parenting. You want to build a relationship with your child. That's very important. For the new, embracing the new trends and what has emerged since the pandemic, I think it has given us as parents options. It has given us options, especially with finding help. Because we have the virtual environment now, not only face to face. So some parents, they have issues with trans or, they can't drop and pick up as like they would, but then now they have an option where they can get that virtual tutoring. As a teacher, I was able to have access to students in almost all of the Bahamian Islands. I think I tutored persons from Eleuthera, the Bahamas, on different islands, with my science coach. And parents were very grateful for that. As a mother, I was happy if I go online and I see for GLAD, study jam for GLAD, $10. Listen, I was signing my daughter up. So the teachers became more innovative. We had to become innovative. It was as if during the pandemic, I felt as if we were in the Underground Railroad. No, because we were locked down, but parents were still looking for help. So we had to become innovative and creative. We don't want to lose that. So all the stuff that we had to learn very quick, like Miss Major said, and the training that Tossie, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, that she does, we don't want to lose that. We want to still use that even when we go back face to face. I am going to find interactive assignments. I am going to do more scaffolding. I am going to make my class as exciting. Learning can be fun still, right? And we can use what we've learned in technology, but we cannot take out that human factor, like she said. I think the touch, the human touch, is necessary, and as humans, that's a need, that's a must, and so we still have to have that in. But I am thankful for the virtual world that has opened up, the global. We are connected globally, like we're not even in Nassau together, and we're on this live. So I'm thankful for that, and we're gonna, as educators moving forward. And I pray that we can get all of our platforms up and running, because I have friends in public and private. I know the challenges, but we will, like Ms. Walker said, we will work it out because we have to.
Definitely. Ms. Walker?
Yeah, somebody, I think it was I saw somebody, it popped up on the screen. I see the name Charmaine Miller, my former colleague. She mentioned something about change. And here again, change is something that we know we have to go through. It's inevitable. Change must happen in order for progress to move forward. Think about it, because I always tell people, prior to the pandemic, let me say it another way. Our vocabulary has expanded since the pandemic, okay? Because prior to 2019, 2020, we didn't regularly use words like mitigate, contact tracing, social distancing. And we thought about masks, we really thought about a party, because that's what came to my mind, and of quarantine. But technology, I feel, has brought us into the 21st century. We say we're a third world country moving towards being a first world country, but we were still behind in so many ways. So one of the good things about the pandemic was that it brought us all more into the technology world. For some, it took a little more time than others, because some of these things that we have to go through was, again, a challenge, but this is how the progress is made. And for me personally, prior to 2019, a video call like this was still something of the future. You saw it on TV, that type of thing. But who knew that this was actually going to be how we would communicate over the past 2-3 years? And it's worked, So we were always doing things online anyway, but then we had to bring it to education, because that's our field. We had to make sure that we first got it, our children got it, our students, our parents, that type of thing, to make sure that here again, we're moving forward and progressing. So it has had its benefits, but I think we're excited that we'll be going back face to face.
Definitely. That human element is
Yes.
definitely something we can't get rid of. It's just a part of who we are as, people that God created. It's just a part of who we are. So when we are isolated, or even when the kids are isolated and felt that, there was, I think, less progress being made in the classroom because of that isolation. And even among colleagues, we could have felt that. It just didn't feel the same. And so, yes, there's no substitute for the human touch. Thank you, Dr. Charmaine.
But those little children in grade 1, you know how the primary school children love to hug.
Yes.
So during the pandemic, when they come to you, it's like, no, there's no hugging today. But they're so used to they love their teachers, those little ones, and so I know it'll be good for them again to be back. Not so much hugging, but to know that they can be, at least can see the faces, and the interaction between children is so important. Some of them didn't get it in the pandemic. Their little group of 5-year-olds that you could come to school with, and some children have at home have issues bigger than we even know, and sometimes school is their only place of refuge. And so they had some students had great difficulty in the last 2 years, and it has been proven. Those children who now started to work, and now you tell them come back to school, but they were then supporting the family. They don't want to come back to school anymore because that's what they were doing. Or the little ones who they just started doing something else. In this journey together to do this, we definitely need our parents to become major stakeholders in this event, to make sure that this education process progresses the way that it should. We can't do this without them.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I'm going to try to read some of what Clarice was saying with all of the things that happened with our kids. We had the pandemic in Grand Bahama and Abaco. We had Hurricane Dorian. We had the war going on, the fear of this. We had rising prices and food shortages and all of this going on. Can our kids really navigate through it all? And who helps with making sure that they are okay and that they could survive? I think that's a question, the gist of what Clarice was asking. So if anyone wants to chime in on that, you can go ahead.
It takes all of us.
I like what she said when she spoke about parents needing training, just like the children. Because in order for us to help our kids, we need to make sure we're all right too. And what you mentioned was a lot of stress, and our kids take on our stresses, and you can see that because when kids come to school, man, they talk everything, to tell you the truth. I mean, you can hear they take on the stresses. So if parents could be a part of more positive things like support groups, or you want to attend training, you want to make sure take care of yourself first. When they say when you're flying, put the oxygen on yourself first. That's the only way you can now help your child. Because when we operate out of a place of frustration, we tend to take that frustration out. It just comes out, and at the persons closest to us would be our kids, right? Our kids, our family members. Even as teachers, we tend to we work with kids all day. We can tend to take out frustration if we bring it home. On our kids, we don't have the patience that we need. So if you, I would say, parents, in terms of fine training, read books, but also talk to persons as well too. During this pandemic, I think for even educators, we talked a lot about social emotional learning and making sure that we were emotionally all right, that our kids were emotionally all right. I think having someone to talk to, like a counselor, I think counseling is just not for people who think they're losing their mind. No, I think counseling is a way to express like what you're going through and help like talk it through. And I think that's mandatory. I think that's something that should be mandatory, and we should look more into that, even as parents. even as teachers, I know we were trying to see if we could have something. We have a counseling department, but we were looking also for other things like for teachers. But we need to address our emotional state, and we've been looking at that because the suicide rate. We talk about that. That's among children. That's among adults, and so we need to make sure that we are all right. And I think that's important. And I think that's the most thing that's very important because if you're not all right, you can't learn. You know what I mean? So we need to look at that.
Definitely. I think we must remember that help is always available. That's something that we talk about for couples, but it's for everyone else as well. Help is always available. Don't stay stuck. Don't feel as if you're in this situation by yourself. Reach out and connect. Get the help that you need when you need it, and don't just think that, hey, I need to solve all these problems by myself. Reach out and get the help, and don't be ashamed of doing it. I know Tossie had something during the summer as well for teachers where it was all about, trying to leave all that stress behind and taking away all that stress. It's like we need those things. So yes, the counselor will be there. Sometimes we don't really want to get into, I'm going to the counselor's office. But as educators, as administrators, we can also have those initiatives where we have structured programs, like someone coming in, doing a workshop or helping. I should be the Freeport Primary tomorrow. That's where you go into Tossie. You're gonna talk. Yeah, like we need
like that. Is it live? Because I want to be a part of that.
Happening.
I need to be a part of that.
So y'all need to call them Tossie
if I may, before you go on.
Okay, sorry. I think Sandra was saying something before I cut in. Go ahead. I think you were responding to something Clarice was saying, or we'll come back.
Parent?
Okay, so let's look at this now. So we've heard about all of these shortages. Someone wanted to say something. Okay, yes, we're good.
Parent, because schools, people think that schools are just for children. They're not. I wanted to use a real life example. Last year, when we were really locked down and doing the virtual teaching, I had several parents that approached me personally through text, and they said, Mrs. Walker, I don't know what to do. It's frustrating. They were going through their own challenges, so on and so forth. We want to help our children. We want to do, what is right, that type of thing. And we need help. That was the main thing. So what we did was arrange a virtual PDA meeting, parents meeting, where we had a guidance counselor, a school guidance counselor, a counselor from another sector of the community, and then a minister who was a counselor. So those three persons came on. So I say that to say, if you let us, the school, know your needs as well, we're here to help as well, because we know once the parents are straight and they're, being brought up to speed and know what it is they need to do, then they can help their children better. So, approach the school, approach the administration, you let teachers know what they need. You can let the administration know what they need. And that was a really helpful session for us. So I just wanted to interject that there.
Awesome.
We also had a case in school where a parent said that they did not understand the math. And so they asked the teacher to allow them to sit, this is the virtual class, in the class when he was teaching the math, so that she would be able to help her child, which he did. So once you ask, teachers are willing and are willing to go the extra mile because we know it's worth it.
Sometimes we have not because we ask not. And just like we tell the kids, if you don't understand, ask. I think as parents, listen, if you don't understand, ask. I ain't ashamed to ask. I'm going to need to know how to help my child. I love what Ms. Walker did to help the parents. I think that's an awesome idea. And that's us working together as a team. And that's the only way we can help our kids. We need that parent, teacher, school relationship. Good like that. I like that.
Definitely. Everyone together, everyone achieves more, right? So we could definitely have more, and our kids could be more successful if we work together as partners, as building, communities, building the future working together. So now we've heard about teacher shortages in the United States of America. So I just wanted to plug this in here. Do you believe that the Bahamas will face similar concerns with teachers deciding, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. This is just too stressful. Or, you know, they move and decide that they'll go and fill the shortages elsewhere. Do you envision that the teacher shortage there impacting the Bahamas?
I mean, well, we're gonna we have still have a shortage now because some of, especially now, the primary area, there's not as much shortage as the technical, as the high schools, the specialist subjects. And you know what I found in young people, young teachers, is they're not planning to stay 40 years like me. You know, they get frustrated, they're gonna tell you they are gone. So they they don't have this stickability, they don't mess around. So however, yeah, if something comes up more attractive, they just may leave, but we have to find a way to engage them, to keep them in, to let them know that they're important. But at the moment, there is a shortage in some of the areas, um, for high school, primary school, no, not so much. So the way, I don't know how we're going to get to fix them, because we need to find those areas. We need to import people if we have to, but they're trying to fill the areas. But when school opens, there will be some shortage in some areas.
And I think to piggyback on what Mrs. Major said, yes, we are. What's happening in the States does affect us because, you know, if there's a shortage there, they're going to start recruiting here and all over. And teachers are going to go, persons will go where they think they are able to benefit more. And so if the salary is more, if you're paying for my living expenses, if I go to school, my kids maybe can get a good chance of going to this college, that college. I have known teachers that have picked up, especially teachers who aren't here with, like, they don't have any, like, family, you know what I mean? They would go pick up, like, persons like myself who have kids here, and I have my house and I have all these things. It'll be harder to just pick up what persons do that. And so, yes, to answer your question, because of the shortage there, that's going to affect our shortage here as well, especially amongst the young people, like Ms. Major said. You know, everybody looking for this big, bright future. To tell you the truth, no one really likes to sometimes go through the process. And in our educational system, we're going through the process. That could be difficult. We're going through a process now with our educational system and the platform for the hybrid learning or virtual learning. It's frustrating for a lot of the educators. But if you go in some place where they already have it all together, you're going to try to go there to help, you know, alleviate some stress and get some more fun. So I agree with that question. Yes, it's going to affect us. It does affect us.
Coming from New Providence and being in the primary school sector, public primary school sector for 23 years, I can tell you the shortages were there from I was there. The last school I left, I think we were in need of at least 11 teachers before I left, and that was just one school. So the deficits are there, and they were not being met at that time. What I realized, though, I think we come from a Western society that really focuses on making teachers the target as it relates to education. Teachers are responsible for basically everything. We are the fix-it-alls and we must do it all, right? And not really putting emphasis on all of the stakeholders, but primarily just focusing on teachers and telling them that they must do and they must fix. And unfortunately, it's not working out. That is not working out for us. And that is what we must change. We must change the mindset that education is a teacher fix it all situation. When we look at the systems, the education systems that work, the Denmarks, the Finlands, they value and they really put their teachers on pedestals. Mind you, they ensure that they are well trained, they are highly, highly educated, and they are the best of the best. But they pay them exceptionally well.
Mm-hmm.
They give them all of the resources that they need, and they ensure mandatory parents are responsible for X, Y, and Z. It is legislation. And I can tell you, in those societies, the public schools are better than the private schools. So there's really no real even competition as it relates to education, because education is superior across the board. In order for us to get there, we need a shift in mindset. So we need to change this. Education is dominated by teachers and must be fixed by teachers, and look at it as it is a collective, right? Parents, you are first. You are the primary teacher. That's how they do it. These are the things that you must do. Your teachers are here to support you, and teachers, we are going to give you the resources. We're going to give you the respect you deserve, because you are highly trained and educated. You are the expert in this field. So we're going to give you what you need, and you could go and do what you need to do, right? No one telling you that, hey, this is what you do and what you need to do, and they have no clue.
Yeah.
So in order for us to really get there, we need a shift in mindset. And I think that's what's killing the Western society. It's not just America. It's even in the Caribbean. Throughout the Caribbean now, we are experiencing these deficiencies because of our mindset in education. And if I may say one more thing, I don't remember it being like this with my mother's, because I talk to my mother all the time, and even with them, there was a level of respect for educators and education in this country in those generations. And I don't know where we lost it and how we lost it, but we need to get back to that level of respect for the profession and for the professionals, as we know as educators.
I agree wholeheartedly. Because the mindset, because I've heard, especially when I decided to do teaching, well, if the only persons who do teaching would be those who can't do anything else. Well, if you can't do anything else, then you go into teaching. That's the mindset that kind of radiates through our culture, and it's not good. It's not good. We're going to have to change that mindset to get to the level where we want to be. And, we're going to have to respect our education system, our teachers, treat our teachers as professionals, pay our teachers as professionals would be nice. You have teachers working for 30, 40 years, and I mean, you're not even close to the starting salary of another professional who just start, first year, accounting or something. Come on, okay? We have to change our mindset. I agree wholeheartedly with what you said.
I know several years ago they had a large Canada, I think it was, and New York, of the Eastern United States. They were recruiting nurses. So anytime I hear this question in education, I'm like, it's possible, because I know of persons I know that you may not move readily because family, your home, and everything, you've built your life. But I know of nurses personally who started building their lives, homes, and everything, families, and they uprooted. One went to New York and one went to Canada. So I remember that. So if the price is right, I think, we may lose some of our teachers like that too. So it's real.
Yes. So just to Ms. Walker, just to talk about administrators. How can administrators be effective while still considering the needs of their staff? Because I think this also plays in the, I need to go somewhere else where I will be better treated, respected, and get what I need. So how can administrators be effective while still considering the needs of their staff? Or would you say that, hey, that's counterproductive or counter opposites? Can there be a balance?
Definitely. I personally think so. Effective leaders set a vision for the school and set clear objectives. And he or she is someone who creates and fosters that professional personal development among teachers and encourages, of course, student growth, because that's what we're all about in schools, and as well as creativity and their own journey of discovery. I feel the collaboration is important. So as administrators, teachers, all of the stakeholders within the school find ways to partner with all of our staff, and not just teachers. Everyone likes to feel a part. Okay, so when they feel that they're a part of planning, a part of preparation, then everybody, they feel as though they're more a stakeholder in the whole process of education, that school, an institution. I use for personal experience, we're preparing for the return of our teachers. This week, I know we had support staff members who would have assisted, as well as one or two teachers. They came together, we used their ideas were shared, that type of thing, to help to create this magical space that we have that's going to be welcoming our teachers back tomorrow. Everyone has contributions, everyone has ideas, so we need to find a way to bridge that, bring it together, and make it all work. So I personally, it's not counter opposite, and it can be united. I do believe that. Yes.
Awesome. Angela, what about parents? How can they be the effective first teachers or second teachers? Because a lot of them may not even see themselves as the first teachers of their children, which in fact we are, right? So how can they be effective first teachers while still considering the needs of their children? Hey, they want to have time to play, they want to do all of these things, but you still want to make sure that they have that vision and they are making strides towards their goals academically.
All right. So, okay. So as a parent, you would want to explain and express to your kids your aspirations and dreams, like for them, in terms of like what you value, and when they will know what you value based on certain things that you do. So they would know that you value education. You might not be the best. You might not have gone to college yourself. You may not know what to do, but if they know you're so interested, and they know that you will, I guess, seek help for them, or show interest, or ask, how was your day? How was school today? Did you understand things like that? You don't need to have any academic knowledge that's a part of teaching, finding out how the child is and their needs. So as a parent, you can do that. You can have that conversation, that relationship open. So when they come home, so did you have a good day at school? You look so nice. Anything good happen? Anything exciting happen? Showing that interest in education is a part of being a teacher as a parent. If you want, like, you're the first teacher, okay? They have to know that you're interested in education. If you don't have that interest and you're like, you have that attitude to the school and to the teacher, well, listen, you don't work, the child do no homework, you ain't even asking. If you don't have that interest, that's not good, okay? And if you don't know, like how Ms. Major said, that the parent didn't understand how to do the math sum, right? But then what did they do? They asked if they could be a part of the class, or you would ask someone to help. If you know someone who could help, you would seek out a tutor. You need to have that interest, and that's important. So in terms of uniting, like being an effective parent or first teacher, you are the first teacher, because the child is with you most of the time, and they are actually feeding off of you in terms of your attitude toward education. So your home environment should be conducive to learning as well. You need to make sure your home environment is conducive to learning. And this is where we said, if you need help, this is why we're on unique couples. If you have a volatile home environment, I can't tell you how many kids as a teacher I can't teach them first because, first of all, they have to calm their nerves. They have to stroke my hair. They have to hide that tail. Okay. They can't learn like that. So learning is more than just open a book and learn the sum. You learning is like how we say with lifelong learners. It's an attitude and it's character building. I get emotional because like Miss Major say, when you're there and you see it, you know what I mean? Um, it's important that the home is conducive for learning. That's a part of being the first teacher. Are you teaching them to be mannerly? Um, we said your character or your attitude will carry you further sometimes than your aptitude. You could be smart, but boy, if you're rude and disgusting, no one's going to want to be around you. No one's going to hire you. But I'm going to hire that very nice person who's trying so hard. They might be a C average, but listen, they producing the work and they're going to get my job. You understand? So we have to figure out too, what are we teaching? Academics is right, but character building, I think, is where we need to go to. At QC, a part of QC that I love is I teach social sciences, right? But we are also a leadership school, and I have the privilege to coordinate the leadership program at the school, and I get to see kids progress in terms of learning character development, and I get to see them setting goals. And progress is what we need to look at in education, not just A. Did you move from an F to a C? Is your attitude, did it progress? So we need to look at what we're teaching, and parents, we are the first teacher. And with academics, we're teaching academics too, but we teach so much more than that. Even as teachers, we have to be an example. I'm not going to be by fish fry in my pom-pom shorts with everything out and going in front of the class. You know, the kids, let me tell you, they know exactly what you've been doing all weekend because they follow everything online, and then people put everything online. They're watching you. They watch my mannerisms. If I color my hair, oh, Miss Nixon, you got color. If I get a little lash, oh, Miss Nixon, you look good today. Your eyebrows are nice. They're learning more than just my science, you know. You know that, right? They are learning how to be successful citizens in our country, and that's what we want. That's what we want. So parents, you are the first teacher, and you need to know the needs of your children. And in order for you to successfully parent, you need to know what your children need. My kids are totally different. I know my daughter, she needs a little extra time with this. My son, he needs a little extra time with that. We're not perfect, so I ask the Holy Spirit to help me as a parent, to open my eyes, help me not to be so harsh on them. See, I need extra help too, and I need the help from on high. So that's one of the first things as a Christian, and as teachers, we need the help from on high. Better pray before you go to that class. The children laugh at me. I say, hold on 1 second. I think I prayed enough this morning. Let's pray. When that child start acting up, they start laughing. When I turn to the board and I do this, they say, Miss Nixon is praying. Yeah, I praying. That's what you all need to do too. Because God can help you. You pray, you'll be so successful in this class. I get too emotional. But I tell them that. And when you try God, they say, taste and see, you will see it. He will help you pass that physics class. He will help you pass that chemistry class. He will help you be in that class that you're in the teaching don't get along. So this is what we are teaching as parents and even as teachers. We have to have the number one goal in mind for our kids. And yeah, I know I said a lot. I hope I wasn't rambling on, but yeah, that's me.
And okay, so let me start with the emotions. It's definitely, and learning is emotional. We are connected. We make emotional connections when we're learning. That is a part of it, and so we can't run away from it. And then there was also the point that you made about us working together. You know, like even what we do at Unique Couples. And I just wanted to pause here I think we have about 2 more questions before we wrap up, but I wanted to pause here to thank. We're talking about partnership, and I want to thank these sponsors who made it possible for us to have this show this evening. So I just want to take some time out to just do that. We have Hair to Please, who was a proud sponsor of Unique Couples and made sure that we could have this Sunday Night Live. And so they're celebrating their 18th anniversary with a wigathon. So teachers, get get all dolled up before you go back to school. Your Brazilian Remy and all of those things, you can get those off. Just let Here to Please know that Unique Couples sent you. Go ahead and contact them, 351-1962, and get all dolled up. And we also want to thank Style Me Pretty for also supporting Unique Couples. And you can also make sure that your little girls are getting all styled up and dolled up for school as well. She does it all, and I know Victory is going to be happy. Her appointment is set for Thursday, and she's going to a new school, so she will be styled pretty by Shadra for back to school. So go ahead, book your appointment for your kids as well. And of course, we have some other sponsors. I just wanted to take time out to shout out all of them and tell them thank you for making this possible. So Angela talked about parents and what parents can do to make sure that they're effective. What about teachers? How can teachers be effective while considering the personal and health needs, their own personal and health needs? Yes, you want to do everything in the classroom. You go over and above board and probably staying up until 2:00 in the morning doing work and preparing for class the next day. How can teachers consider their personal and health needs? I remember even during the pandemic, while we were at home teaching virtually at one point. So we have these live classes. I think we were still doing Zoom, or maybe we were using the LMS. There was just something. And before, you dismiss the children for lunch, but by the time I'm trying to prep my lessons for the next class to make sure the technology is on point and everything is geared to go, lunchtime, and I was home. Lunchtime was over, and I was still at the computer trying to make sure that everything was lined up so that we could be on point, because we only had a few minutes, and that was when we had that crazy schedule of something every 30, 25 minutes. You had to change and go into another subject. And so at one point it was like, no, there has to be something better. So Tossie, speak to us about this. I know you even had your own personal experiences. Anybody else could go also chime in on that.
Yeah, I think it was 2020 when it really just started for us, and we were thrusted into the lockdowns, and no one could go anywhere. But of course, teachers were still teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a 5-year-old. Well, they were 4 and 2 then. I had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at home, and I was expected to teach a class of 35 students daily. And like Linda said, they had these really weird schedules where they wanted 30 minutes of this and 30 minutes of the other lesson. And it got to the point where, as a teacher, I said, this just will not work. This is not going to work. Because, of course, my little ones were banging on the door to get in, right? And sometimes I had to, sit them even on my lap to teach a lesson. It was very stressful. And I was not the only teacher dealing with situations like that. It was extremely, extremely stressful. So, yes, I had a breakdown. I had an anxiety attack. And I promised myself from that day that it would never happen again, because I did not want to leave this earth and leave my 2 beautiful children figuring out what to do without their mommy, right? So I decided from that day to have certain boundaries. And as educators, we want to be our best. We want to do our best all the time. We love what we do. However, if we do not give to ourselves, we have nothing to give to others.
Yep.
And no matter how much we try to get around it, we must always remember that we have to have those boundaries in place. So quickly, I just want to say, if you are an educator out there, please, as you go into the new school year, before you start working on lesson plans, before you start working on resources and activities, Set your boundaries for the new school year. Have your set times for work. If you say to yourself, my work time is between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that is when you work. You are at it. You are doing what you need to do. And have your cutoff time for you and your family. And persons say, well, that's not possible because you know you have X, Y, Z. Listen, you will get the work done. Trust me, the work gets done. It is how you prioritize, and it is how you set up and plan your days. So if you plan between 8 and 5 to go all in, and this is my list, I have 3 to 4 things I must accomplish today. That's what I am going to do as it relates to my work. And I am not going over. Yes, some days you will, but don't allow every day to be a day where you are up 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning still working. It is not healthy. And many of us have lost co-workers, not to COVID. We have lost co-workers to stress. We have lost co-workers to cancer. We have lost co-workers to heart attacks and other diseases related to stress. Teachers, please take care of yourselves. And you can join our Safeguard Your Sanity courses and the Educators Academy membership and coaching program that is about to begin in September, because teachers can find that work-life balance. Listen, at the end of that school year, my results were still good. My students still did well. But I decided after a certain time, parents, really, let me say to the parents, it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. I will see your children tomorrow and I can help them tomorrow. It's really not that serious, okay? So as parents too, we need to relax. We need to relax and realize that teachers are also parents. Teachers are wives and husbands and partners. Teachers have lives too. Yes. And so they can't spend their entire day in the classroom and always doing teacher work. All right. So, but teachers have to set those boundaries for themselves first and communicate those boundaries to the persons involved. I had my session with my parents, and my parents say, okay, Mrs. Pugh, I understand. Because they saw the 4-year-old and they saw the 2-year-old sitting on my lap some days. And so we had to change the schedule. Linda, I had to change my schedule. I could not do it. And my parents were like, Miss Pugh, that make no sense. We get you. We understand. No problem. So I had my 1-hour blocks. And then I shifted like that. And this primary school, what children to do in 30 minutes. But anyway, that's a whole different story.
It's a whole different story. A whole different story. Right? I agree with that. But I truly endorse everything she just said.
I'm telling you, as teachers, we have to be engineers too. We have to know when something isn't working out for us. It's okay to shift. It's really okay to shift and do what you know will work. So we could get that could be a whole other session, Linda, but yes, set your boundaries, educators.
I agree with her. And self-care is the most important thing, because if I'm not healthy, what's my purpose of being here? And the same thing you're saying with the virtual thing, remember we were just learning the system. So we were trying to learn the system and teach at the same time. So it was new to all of us. So you spend your nights making lessons for the next day. So you spend all your time. So at a point, I recognize that self-help, if I'm not healthy in body, mind, and spirit, I'm no good to anybody. So there's some parents who would call you 12 o'clock at night. They won't send you a text. Mm-hmm. So you have to say to parents, no, I'm not answering anything after 7. You have to set boundaries and know that at the end of the day, take yourself and go get a massage. You're worth it. Stays to come out of the box. Don't take all the stress on, because there are people waiting to be 60 who can't enjoy it. Before they're 60, they're dead. They're saying, when I get this is what I can do when I retire. They don't make it there. So because they don't make it, just like she said, because of stress. So we have to set our boundaries for ourselves and know that out of all the people we care about most, we're not being selfish, We just know we must take ourselves first. Self-care, know that I'm good in body, I'm good in my spirit, and I can be more blessing to my home. What good am I to my family if I'm always tired? If I can't do anything when I come home, what am I good at in school? I'm going to be cranky. The children are going to annoy me. The principal is going to work on my nerve if I'm not taking care of me. I love the children. I love my home. So balance is the key. Find a place where you know when you shut your door, it's for you. You need that away from people. Because if not, you're going to crash and burn. And you will not make it to 41 years like me. I just thought I'd put that in there. Yes. God's been good to me. God's been very good to me. So, and it's because you have to know when to say no. Teachers are so great. Teachers want to be the teacher, the doctor, the lawyer, the cook, the bus driver, everything. We have to take our children, our own personal children, to dance and to drama and to track, and we take them all these places. We have afternoon classes. We have to do all of them with other people's children, and then we're burned out. So we need to sit down, exhale, and take care of ourselves first. Then we can be a better help to those around us.
Okay, so Ms. Major, you said a lot right there. What is the union doing to help or to get teachers to understand like what happens when you feel overwhelmed or there is too much? What steps can they take? Is there something written? Is there some procedure that they must follow? How do you know when enough is enough, especially as it relates to boundary issues with parents?
Right. So see, again, it's on the teacher to decide what is enough for them. But there are psychological services that the Ministry of Education offers. But you must know as a teacher when enough is enough for you, because all of us are built differently. What I can take, you may not be able to. So you have to draw your own. And when you come and you say to your principal, you must have a relationship with them. This is enough. I have reached my point. And if there's communication between myself and Miss Walker, I can go into her as an administrator and say to her, Miss Walker, I need help. I need physical help. I need right now. Come to us and say, well, how can we help you? How can we help you to manage this classroom better? Because I recognize you there's something wrong. There's something different about you. You're not up. I mean, you used to do something in school, but now that it doesn't seem the same way. What is happening? So as whether it's union or just administrators, we have to recognize that if we can't help you if you don't come to us. So because I came into the and then she said the person dropped down dead. We didn't know that they were having heart problems, but because nobody ever said it. So be willing to share, and in sharing, let us together find the best avenue. Find the person you can talk to. Go where you need to go. Again, I'm back to self-care. Know who you are. Be able to vocalize it to somebody. When you're not feeling well, say so. Because we can't read minds as much as we want to help. We can't read minds. Find someone that you can share it with and then bring it to our attention. Then from there, we will follow the procedures that need to be done. But until we know, we can't help. Awesome. But don't think you're superhuman, because we can't be everything to all people. Only God can do that. And that's where we sometimes as teachers, because we want to do it. We want our children to succeed. We're going to stay late and we're going to have those afternoon classes because we want our children to do well in this class. And then what happens? They put a black bow on our door when we pass away, and they say next. Mm-hmm. So know that you're important.
Your family suffers.
Yes.
Yeah. So as much as we want to, and we need to, it's our responsibility. We are, we're educators and we do work with children. That's our primary responsibility. As much as we want to do all of that, we know that children come to us with issues. They come with issues and we try our best to help them. So if we need to point them in a direction or their parents where they can get that help, then we need to make sure that we are doing it. Because if the children come to school with issues because the parents weren't doing what they needed to do, and that's one of the reasons why I felt so impressed as well, along with Vito, to really have this platform to be able to show people the connection between whatever is happening in your house at home is impacting the lives of your children, which will impact generations to come, who they are, who they marry, what they can do, what type of jobs or careers they'll have, or if they'll be entrepreneurs or whatever it is. It's a cycle and it's all connected, and we need to partner. We need to make sure that we are working as a team together to collectively build stronger, healthier communities, doing it one person at a time, as an individual, as you take care of yourself, and then as a couple, and then definitely making sure that our families are healthier. So, ladies, what's next? What would you say? What's new? What's things that you would encourage maybe a parent, a teacher to do or not to do this school year? So if you have something that's new that you want to share, you can go ahead, or something that is that they should stop doing, you could go ahead and share that, and then we'll end with your advice to parents, parents, teachers, administrators, and then of course union members as we wrap up. Yeah, so that was a lot just now.
I think I would encourage teachers to not just find a hobby, but to do something that they always wanted to do, or they have a passion for outside of teaching, and really go at it. Really go at it. Because that helps to create that balance that teachers really, really need this new school year. So find a hobby. Maybe it's something that you always wanted to do that you felt as if you didn't get a chance the last 2-3 years because of the chaos. Find it, research it, grab the podcasts that will help you to develop and enjoy yourselves this school year. Create that work-life balance. Be your best.
Awesome.
For parents, what's new? I would say, well, your kids are on technology. So maybe if you can find some way to participate with them in that, if it's not just like something fun, but online, like look for certain apps, like you can search and look for certain apps, interactive apps, if you want to help your child to study. I mean, we are trying to invent things that have already been invented, for us. Many, many apps are online where you can go and show your kids, and, you could say, look at this science app and look at this review game. You having what? A chemistry test on matter? Oh, look what I found. Like, you could take the time to do that and search and try to meet them where they are at. For teachers, chalk and talk is gone. We have to meet the kids where they're at too. So we have to also see what's new in technology or whatever they're on. Sometimes you just discuss even things that they're listening to, like, persons that have their air, like these rappers and different things. I mean, we're young, right? Me and Tossie, 20 years, but I feel old to the kids. I'm not going to tell you any lie because I don't know who they're listening to and all this stuff. But I want to take the time, make an effort, talk to them. So build relationships, I would advise, is important for parents. You want to build relationships with your child to find out, for that open communication, and then to find out where they are and meet them at the point of their needs. Effective teachers do that. For parents, every child is different. You want to meet the child at the point of their need and see progress. Stop comparing. You need to not compare. Like competition. In science, competition is a bad thing, We sometimes look at it as good, but competition is negative. It's bad because we're not helping each other. We're competing and pulling down. So even for kids, we don't want to compare your child. Your child might be worked better in a smaller environment. You don't want to compare, and you want to stick with the Joneses. Bahamians, they got to go this way, and they're trying to keep up in the social life, whatever. You can make a change because at the end of the day, you want your child to progress and to learn. So my advice would be to find ways to build relationships. Your child is the most important thing to your family first, God, family, and then work. So if you're going to find time to build relationships with people at work, you want to find that time, put in that family time, like Tossie said. You want to put in that time to spend with your child to build a relationship, let them know that they are important. And as you build a relationship, the academics part of it, that will help with the academic as well in terms of their education. And attend parent meetings. It says parent meetings because it's for you. It's tailor-made just for you parents. So don't take that time and say, man, I'm so tired tonight. I mean, if you can attend the parent meeting, don't take it for granted that the child is going to tell you what's going on, because no, it's parent meeting, because children basically, especially in high school, they're not talking, not to the parent. Okay, so you want to attend parent meetings to find out what is going on. Knowledge is power. If you want the power to help your child, then you want to put yourself in the positions where you have the knowledge of what's going on to help them. That's my advice.
My advice to teachers is not to work so hard. Share information. Don't reinvent the wheel. If someone else has the information, be willing to share with your coworkers, because it makes it easier for you. So as team up together if you have to, and make it easier on you. Parents must know that we are both all stakeholders in this, and parents must get to know their children's teachers and know that even if they say there's no homework, children can always sit down and read. Children can always read. And it's important that they read. Reading is important. It builds on everything to be able to read. So if the parents and the teachers have a relationship, and the child knows that if I'm not doing anything, my mommy has, or my daddy has a relationship with the teacher, and they're all interested in me, we will see a difference in the child who knows that everyone connected to them, that they care. But I say to teachers, do not kill yourselves working double. Share. Collaboration is the thing. Partner together. It makes teaching easier. If you have done it, share it with somebody. Show them how if they don't know how. The young teachers that are coming up who are just entering the profession now, be their mentor. Be the spark beneath them. Bring them up. Let them change the face of education in this country, because we want the way that we approach education to change. We want the young people to have a new voice, and we want the voices to be heard. But we don't want what was. We want what is. We want what they're bringing. But we need to know, they must know that we care about them. We don't leave them behind and say, man, checking for you. No, partner with them. And together, we can make this great little country even better and change our education system. Maybe one day we can become a Denmark, Finland. Maybe. Because the new teachers behind us, they see that and say, you know something, we can aspire to this. Because I'm out of the system. The ones coming up, let's aspire to this and change the face of education in this country. But we can't do it alone. We need every stakeholder to partner with us. And that's what I'd say to teachers and parents.
Awesome, awesome. Great final words and advice.
Yeah, collaboration is the key word there. And everybody's saying it. In my best English voice, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like to say, glean from the expertise of your veteran teachers and empower those novices, teachers that are coming in with all that energy to take risks and be innovative. Okay, that's the key to making everyone feel a part of what's going on in the school environment. As was meant, I think it was Ms. Tossie, don't be over anxious, take everything in stride. We're not going to let anything stress us out this year, no matter what level it is that we're working from. We're just going to take everything in stride.
Awesome. Okay, this is everyone. Final words. We just need to definitely work as a team, work together to make it happen. Parents, teachers, administrators, everyone. I did not get to congratulate. I have to do this before we wrap up. Sandra Major and BECAWU. I don't think we even said what BECAWU was. We just said that name just casually there. But Mrs. Major, you did. BECAWU just kind of like turn things around. And tell us about that for a few seconds. Tell us about, what happened. We know there was a new contract signed, and how is this going to impact teachers, and who could this help? Like, is it just for Grand Bahama, or is the Bahamas able to be a part of this exciting new things that is happening with BECAWU?
Thank you. BECAWU stands with Bahamas Educators, Consulates, and Allied Workers Union. We did sign the agreement, and what we recognize, we have in BECAWU decided that in order for education to work, we have to partner with the government. We did not come in this for a fight. Fight if we have to, but we don't always have to fight. You accomplish much in sitting down at a table as educators and working out your differences. We have decided that we don't want our differences to be displayed on Facebook or to be displayed on television. We want our differences to be displayed at a table. Because you sit opposite me does not mean everything you say is wrong. Doesn't mean everything that I say is right. It just means on one issue we have a difference of opinion. And as leaders are supposed to inspire. Leaders are supposed to motivate. And so our job as educators, when the young people see us on television, is to see us leading with what we say. So we said we have conflict resolutions. If they don't see that, then why are we speaking? So what we're saying in this union is sit with the government, discuss with the government. We don't like everything that they do. They may not like everything that we do, but we must come to a point where we can sit as leaders and hash out our differences for this country to move forward. If not, we're failing. So BECAWU it's for everybody in the Bahamas. We just have a base in Grand Bahama because our largest executive members live on the island of Grand Bahama. But we do have members on Abaco, Grand Key, Bimini, Andros, Abaco, Auckland, Smith Warner, Exuma, Eleuthera, and New Providence. So, and every day we are still recruiting members daily because we recognize that, this is democracy at its finest. Yep. Because it says that you can have this if you wish. Freedom of association is one of our basic rights in this country. So that's what we have done. We've decided that we can govern ourselves. And this is the platform that we have taken. We have a voice to speak to the government. And since coming into this as a union, we've had a very, very good working relationship with the government. Now, in this country, they make everything in this country political. And so if you decide that you have a good working relationship, automatically it's political. See, but what we recognize is that that's the height of stupidity. Because as a growing nation, you must know that freedom of association, freedom of choice is a basic right. And so we have decided as this union that we're going to move this country forward in a new direction. We're going to work with the government. Doesn't matter which government it is. Because like I told them, on September 16th, when Dr. Minnis was no longer Prime Minister and Prime Minister Philip Davis became Prime Minister, I was still a teacher. Yep. I've been teaching from 1980, and the government has changed 7 times. And all of that, every morning I woke up, I was still a teacher. So we have the right in this country. We have chosen that right in this union to become a union. So I say, everybody, every teacher, anywhere on the Keys and Islands of Grand Bahama, come join us. We're here for you. And that's us.
Awesome. Awesome. I like the freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice.
And you can choose. And I also like the fact that we are showing our children the correct and modeling the behavior we tell them each day in school. Yes. We tell them about conflict resolution. We tell them about not doing the name calling. We tell them about all of these different things, and we want them to do it. But then when we go out, we do something different. And so we have to lead by example. That is what Jesus did, and that's what we need to continue to do. So even as we go out, ladies, Angela, Gia, Tossie, Sandra, as you're working in the classroom, as you're doing your workshops, Tossie and Gia leading in administration, we must be the first examples of taking care of ourselves, of realizing that, hey, if you're not okay, be okay with not being okay and getting the help that you need. We need to be the ones to say, okay, these are my set hours. This is when I'm going to work. This is the time when you can call me. And if not, it's not that serious. You can see me tomorrow because we are together 5 days of the week. It's not that serious, even though we take education seriously. So I definitely had a great time today, just hearing you ladies talk and just emphasizing the fact again, like you all said it, collaboration, working together, teamwork. We definitely need to do that to build healthier societies. And we start, like I said, with the individuals. Yeah. So we're wishing all of our teachers, thanks, Clarice, best wishes for this school year. Awesome. And so those of you who are listening, geez, I think I forgot we had an audience just now. I was just talking to you ladies. Those of you who are listening, remember to share, like, follow us on Unique Couples YouTube channel. Join us for and in our Unique Couples Marriage Club. We have a membership. So those of you who are married, go ahead and join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club. And if you are single, we have things for you as well. Because guess what? Help is always available, and the help does not always have to be with a white coat. Okay? Help is available because we do a lot when we interact with each other. And so having that community of support is just something that is will be helpful for us, even as we work on our relationships, as we work on ourselves. And teachers, even as you work on being the best teacher that you can be, definitely check out Tossie. So ladies, before we go, let our viewing audience know as quickly as you can. I know some of you definitely have to go. Let our viewing audience know how they can get in touch with you, what you're working on now. Hopefully we can have those links in and share that before we go.
Okay, well, you can reach me on Facebook, Angela Cooper Nixon. I'm also on LinkedIn. And I also have a page, The Science Coach, where I offer virtual tutoring. The Science Coach on Facebook, where I offer virtual tutoring for general science, health science, and biology. So if you need help in those areas, you can seek me out. I am here to do my part. And I so enjoy being a part of this panel discussion today. And I look forward to linking with each one of you after this.
Awesome.
Yes, I have email sandra.BECAWU@gmail.com, telephone number 727-9091. And you can find us on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Angela, someone was asking if you don't do physics. Okay, so you heard from Angela, you heard from Sandra.
I have a contact for physics. Tell them, message me.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
I'm going to jump in here ahead of Miss Tossie because she's got a long list of things to go. But I am on Facebook and LinkedIn as Gia Walker.
Awesome.
That is funny. Yes, Tossie Pugh, the business is the Legacy Training Lab. You can find the Legacy Training Lab on Facebook. We are also on Instagram, and we just started on TikTok. You got to go where the young people are too, because we have young teachers. We have our novice teachers, so we have to be on TikTok as well. We are on LinkedIn as Tossie Pugh, but check us out, the Legacy Training Lab. We're starting our membership and coaching program for educators September 14th. Listen, this is going to be a holistic membership and coaching program for teachers, for administrators, for professors, anybody in the education field. You need to be in this program. So thank you so much, Linda. This has been a dynamic and awesome evening spent. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Great seeing you, ladies. Thank you so much for sharing and being a part of what you said, collaboration, working together as a community to really build our Bahamaland. And of course, those of you who are watching from other parts of the world, know that we definitely have you in mind, because we want our children to be able to be world citizens as well. So we can be here and we can still impact the world, because, hey, everything is coming here, but we're also sending things out in terms of our influence and what we do. And we need to do that, and we can do that and have to do that when we are building our individuals, building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. And it doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we all work together. So go ahead. Those of you who are not a part of our Unique Couples community, go ahead and connect with us. Join us in the Unique Couples Marriage Club and take your relationship to the next level. We want to thank our sponsors again for making this edition of Unique Couples, our back to school special, possible. So thank you again, Here to Please, for sponsoring this Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. We also want to thank Style Me Pretty and the work that you are doing as well in supporting. Thank you all for being a part of making sure that we are indeed making our Bahama land bigger, better, and definitely the place to be. I've had so many couples say, oh yes, we need to be there and we're coming. So you'll hear more about our Unique Couples retreat. So stick around, stay tuned. We had fun and we wish you all the best. Remember to subscribe to our Unique Couples YouTube channel and definitely stay connected. Love you all. Bye.